Girl, Facebook family. You know what time it is. It is 7 p.m. and it is time for getting acquainted with the queen. We are super duper excited. Wave at the audience, queen. Of course, we got Lawana, we have Erica, and guess what, y'all? We have some super dope guests with us today. We have Zana Ford with us. We call her Q. I'm gonna call her Q. She can tell you her and then we have Telfair Graves with us as well. And guess what, y'all? Guess what we're gonna be talking about today? This is a super hot topic. We are going to be talking about loving the skin that you are in. So, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and ask the ladies to introduce themselves. I hear some feedback, so I'm going to put everybody on mute until you are talking. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys to introduce yourselves, give us a little bit about who you are, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to share with the audience, please feel free. And we just want to thank you guys for even coming in and joining us tonight on this Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead. Donna, if you want to, I see you first. So you're the first person. So I'm going to unmute you, Donna. If you could just tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself. Go on, Donna.
Hi, everybody. My name is Donna. I've been a friend of Georgette's for over 20-something years now. And I'm a mom of 4 daughters and 2 grandchildren. And I am just excited to be on the show today. It's a great topic to be involved in. And actually, I wrote a children's book that's based on this subject that's dealing with us, but it's on a children's level. So I'm excited to be here. And I thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes. Oh, that's what you do. I forgot you wrote a book, Donna. Yes. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Q, we got you next. Tell the peoples who you are. Q, let me unmute you. Tell the peoples who you are. Uh-oh, you still muted. Go ahead, unmute yourself. I can't. Okay.
I got it. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Q. It's actually Kawana. I go by Q. So Kawana Crockett is my name. And I'm actually a colleague and very good friend of Lawana's, and also have become quite acquainted and had the pleasure of becoming girlfriends with the Queens, and also Cookie, which you'll introduce to here in a minute. And I just also wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. I couldn't wait to grab at this topic. It's absolutely necessary for these times, and I think that this is going to be a really great forum, and I think that there might be an opportunity. I'm just saying, y'all might want to have to do a couple of these because this is absolutely necessary. So thank you for the opportunity.
You're muted, G.
Yeah.
Y'all listen. Crazy. All right, Cookie, tell us who you are, Cookie.
I am Telfair Graves, better known as Cookie, because most people can't say my real name, so I just go by Cookie. I have been acquainted with these young ladies for over 20-some years, but I'm a good friend of the Tribe Called Queen because I believe in what they're doing. And I'm going to let you know, Donna, I'm going to be coming at you on this topic because it's going to be talking about dark skin versus light skin. But I still love you, though. I still love you. But I'm just happy to be here and talk about being comfortable in your own skin.
Amen. Thanks, Cook. All right, no, we ain't coming for nobody. We all loving all the skin that we are in. And that's why this conversation is so important, because this is something, that has been around forever in the Black community since, just long time ago. And it's things that people don't want to talk about. And so y'all know that the Queens, that's what we do. we like to bring things to the forefront that people don't want to talk about. We want to have real talk. And so that is why this topic is so relevant, and it's really relevant for right now. What a time. It's always been relevant, but it is very relevant for now, for the time, what's going on. And so we're going to go ahead and just get on into this thing. We have some questions. You guys, please feel free to chime in. If any questions that you guys have for the ladies, let's be respectful. Please know that we are all queens, okay? And that's how we roll. We don't do nothing distasteful. We don't do nothing disrespectful. So if you have a question or a comment, please make sure that it is of the utmost respect. Amen. Because I shut it down in a minute. So we're not even gonna do that. All right, y'all. So that's enough being said. All right, Lou, what you got? LaWanda has some questions. We're gonna let Lou go ahead and get these questions in here. I'm trying to start a watch party too.
I just want to know what is so unique about you ladies. So I'll start with Cookie first. You on mute, boo.
Did you unmute me? Okay, now you unmuted me. Thank you. The thing about me that I think is unique is that I would definitely speak what's on my mind. Sometimes it comes out a different way, and sometimes it comes out a good way or a bad way. But I think that's how you should be. Even if I'm a friend of yours, if I think that you're wrong, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. So, and the thing I think that's very unique about me is that I can read people. I can read you and tell you whether we're going to be friends or whether we're not going to be friends. And if we don't, it's okay. I don't have to, you don't have to be friends with everybody. And the reason I was saying that with Donna is because that is a reality in our community. When I was in service, it was white women, light-skinned Black women, and then dark-skinned women. And it came in that pattern. And it's true, it has nothing to do with a person, but that's the way it is. And I think it's still somewhat that way now. I think every one of us had said it to ourselves at one point in time, or I wish my hair was longer, or I wish my skin was lighter, or I wish this, and people are still doing it today because we have been breeded that way from when it was slavery. Slavery time, if you were a light-skinned woman, you were in the kitchen. If you were a dark-skinned woman, you were in the fields. And when the same thing went in when I was in service, it was exactly the same way. So I always pride myself in doing over what I had to do to prove that I'm just as good as you. And right. and it's true. People don't want to talk about it, but it's true.
Well, that's why we're here today to talk about it.
That's right.
Right. How about you? What makes Donna Ford unique?
I think what makes me unique is that from the time I was a little girl, first of all, let me explain the background. My mom is mixed, my dad is mixed. So, and when I read their birth certificates, they both say mulatto. Yeah. But I was taught back then, when I was a little girl, my mom always said, don't let that skin color go to your head. Never let it go to your head. You're going to deal with some things, but never let it go to your head, no matter what. And she's always brought us up that way. Right. So what makes me unique is I was always able to embrace the person that I am. And I've always lived a life according to how I feel that I am as a person. As far as me being a unique person, I would say the same thing with Cookie. I can read somebody and it's sad because I can do it and I know if I'm going to be friends with them. And I just have this way of, of a personality where I can draw people in, and I'm a caring person. I don't care who you are, what color you are, anything. I'm just a very caring person with people. And I've always been that way. Now, as far as the light skin, the dark, that has been my pet peeve since it started with me in middle school. And it has been my pet peeve since then. So one day I was sitting at home and I said, you know what, I'm gonna write a children's book based on light skin versus dark skin, but I'm using butterflies because they come in a variety like us Black women or Black people, period. But I think that for me, I can just embrace everybody. I can just deal with anybody. I don't care. But like Cookie said, I can say what I want to say to people. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you the truth. At least you know that I'm coming with the truth. I'm not coming. I'm going to look in your face and say this and then go behind. Say, oh, I wish I had really told them something else. You know what I mean? But that's I would say that was my thing. Just embracing the person I am and embracing others.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good.
Yes.
How about you, Q?
Well, with the exception of Donna, most of you have had the opportunity to communicate with me on some level. LaWanna gets it more than anybody. So I will say that I feel like what makes me unique is my deep and free thinking. I think deep and I think free, and I'm unapologetic about that. And I think that I've learned through this journey that you either love it or you are very scared of it, and I'm okay either way, because what I mean by unapologetic is because I feel really deep, and so because I feel really deep and I think really deep, I communicate very deeply, and I do feel like it comes from a good place, and I care deeply. So I feel like it's really unique because I like to think about what I'm going to say before I say it, and that is very rare. A lot of people don't do that. It took a lot of work to get here, but I'm very proud of that. And so I would say that's what makes me unique. And you ladies, it's interesting because I'm kind of in the middle of the spectrum here when it comes to shades of brown. And what's really interesting is I'm sure that every woman of color on the planet could probably write a book about their experiences of what they've gone through. And it does start early. And unfortunately, sometimes it's even cultured in your families. So outside of discrimination in the workplace, in the military, I have the same experience as you as well, Cookie. But Donna, I also have some of the experiences you have as far as the family side. And there was a lot of colorism within our own family. And so again, like I said earlier, this topic is very important because our children need to learn very early about confidence. And that saying that it starts at home really it's true. It does start at home. And what they don't learn at home, they have to try to find outside of home. And it's not always pretty 9 times out of 10. So anyway, so I think that what really does make me unique is like Georgette calls it methodical thinking. I like that term. I think I might have to coin that, but my methodical thinking, but my free thinking, my deep thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So in saying that, you guys get into another question, unless the other queens want to jump in. In saying all that,
it's all you. Go ahead. I'm just chilling.
did you guys need anyone to validate you?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
I can tell you, absolutely not. Never. I was my own style, my own worst enemy, all of it put together. No. No.
Well, so I am going to say this. Like I said earlier, it starts at home, right? And in my case, what I do think is very early on in my life, when I started early in my adulthood, I do think that I was looking for validation because I have a very unique story. And so in the very beginning, yes, but I will tell you really quickly in my early mid-20s, I let go of that real quick. What's the saying? If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. So I learned really quickly that if I wanted the validation that I was going to need to succeed, um, I had to look in the mirror and I had to give myself that pat on the back. I had to really give myself the kudos. I had to do what I needed to do in order to come out of that. But I think early on, yeah, I think I did. And I think that that's pretty common. I think it's pretty common that when you're really young, especially if you don't get that at home, you know, if you don't get that at home very early on, you come right out the gates as an adult seeking things that you didn't get when you were a kid. And sometimes it takes people well into their 40s and 50s and 60s, right? And they're still seeking that. And if you can be so lucky to learn a lesson young, you know, so I would say absolutely not now. But when I was early in my 20s, when I first started out, yeah, I think I definitely did.
I think I guess validated from my parents. And once I got that validation from my parents, I didn't care about what the world, thought. As long as I was okay with my parents, when I came from a Christian God, I think I always, to this day, I don't always make every great decision, but I don't make my decisions based on Georgette or based on Erica or based on Cookie or based on you. You know what I mean? I make my decisions for me. Now I know my decisions might not always be good. So, okay, Luana, you're going to have to pay the consequence. But I'd rather pay the consequence for something I chose to do instead of someone else. And I always tell the kids that when you make a choice, make sure you make that choice. You validate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. And as a mom, that's exactly what I've poured into both of my kids. And since we're, this is a panel of women, my daughter in particular, and LaWanda, you've interviewed my daughter, that was absolutely critical for me that I broke the cycle right there and that I made sure that my daughter got all of the validation that she needed so that when it's time for her to go out here and start her life, she's not looking for something that she already received. But also I had to teach her what it's like to give it to yourself first. It's not always about getting it from other people. Now, as human beings, we need that connectivity. We need validation. We need that assurance. We need the security and the comfort and the safety. However, we don't need it if we haven't learned it from ourselves first, how to give it to ourselves. So I made sure that, and I still do, like just because they're grown doesn't mean that they don't still get that coaching and that parenting. It does not stop. It doesn't stop. So you're right. You don't need it as much if you've gotten it at a very young age. It really does start at a very young age.
And I also tell my girls, I have 2 daughters, I talk to them about that. That's one of the most important things that I try and discuss with them. And Cookie mentioned something very important that I want to miss and skip over. She was her enemy. I see sometimes in my daughters, they turn that way. And when I talk to them about certain things, we always discuss, okay, you want to make sure you know who you are, because when you step out in the world wants to tell you who you are every single time. So you want to make certain you know who you are, girls, before you leave, so you don't need that. And like you said, Q, just back your bet. I mean, it's so important because in this world of social media, where they see everything so instant and quick, they don't see the work behind somebody else. They see that photo, and they think, okay, I can do that too. But they don't know the months, the years, and days they put into doing something like that. And the work is instant. It's an instant gratification that they see. So, and this nice, like everybody sees the good and nothing but behind the scenes hard work. So I don't want them to have this thing that this is what you need to aspire or achieve to, your own goals, your own reality. That's what you reach out for. I think this is good.
Amen. Yes.
I just want to say something else about it as far as social media goes. You have a lot of people out there portraying something that they're not. So I definitely, because like I said, I have 4 daughters, but my concern, I know is my grandson, because he's always, well, I got to get all these, this, and this. I got to get all this. You're not those people. You don't know what they're doing. People want to be something that they're not. People want to look like they are, how can I put it, like they have achieved everything. They rather look like it than work to get it. They rather put it out there for people to see that they are this way when they actually haven't even worked to try to get that way.
Yes, we live. That's called the microwave generation. Microwave generation. Everybody wants to put it in the microwave and think it's supposed to work like that, and it doesn't work like that. So, speaking that, now that y'all said social media, that brings a question to my mind. What do you guys feel about how, women, of color, of different varying colors, are portrayed in social media or just in media, period? That we have always, everything has always been, people want to portray the light skin or the long hair or whatever. But now we are seeing that things are changing, though. And I think it's amazing that now we have so many, shades of us that are in everything. So, like, what do you guys think about that? It took forever. Look at Eric. It took forever for it to come, but and now even in movies and there, of course, everybody want to talk about Wakanda for life, but it's just amazing to see. So you guys just give me a little bit about what do you think about the changes that are taking place right now for women of different shades and colors. Whoever wants to jump in.
I'll go first. I actually think it's quite beautiful to see women of all shapes and sizes and color showing confidence in themselves. And have y'all probably all heard the saying, women don't dress nice for men, they dress nice for other women, right? And it's true. And when I think about women becoming more confident and being able to showcase themselves, but even just marketing companies and movies, and just when I think about it as a whole, it's so refreshing to see someone that almost looks like me, right? It's amazing to finally see, storylines that are not just the stereotypical angry Black woman, or, y'all know the movies and the stereotypes. Like, there were only specific roles just for Black women, and they were the same roles all the time. And so it's nice to see women get to be villains, or women get to be superheroes, or women get to be, in these suspense films, and they're not getting killed off in the beginning of the movie, or they don't, y'all know, that's why y'all laughing, because y'all know I'm right. It's really nice and really refreshing to see a variety, because growing up, that's not something we saw. I didn't see that growing up. So it's been really refreshing to see that. And then on the other side, I still feel like there's so much more work we have to do, and we haven't even scratched the surface. And occasionally I'll see a woman proud of herself, even just posting herself on social media, and I'll read through the comments and my heart starts to ache about some of the commentary, and it's our own people most of the time.
That's right.
And it's like, we've got to stop this. That's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's mom, that's somebody's sister. So, on one hand, we've come so far, and on another hand, we have so much further to go. And I'm hopeful that, in 20 or 30 years from now, when, we're sitting back and we're reflecting, that we see more change, and that it's drastic enough that, it's making the impact we need it to make.
Well, I think it's changed even in the movies. If you look at the movies of just a few years ago, it was always a Halle Berry that was winning, but now it's Viola Davis. somebody that, like you said, looked like me. So that's what I think our teenage girls and people need to see now, because you want to see somebody that look like you. So I think it's changing, but it's a slow change, but it is changing.
That's why I like Rihanna, because with all her products that she has out,
Right.
from makeup to lingerie to whatever, she's covering the whole entire spectrum, the
Right.
entire spectrum. And that's why I can really go with what she's doing and agree with what she's doing, because, well, you know, Rihanna, she's going to speak her mind anyway, but you know, she's covering the whole spectrum of everything. If you just look at her fashion show, you'll see every race actually is in her fashion shows, and
Right.
every size woman. But I have to say, she's definitely has incorporated all of the races and skin tones.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting I'm muted and I'm just studying, but I was like, okay, so we have another question. The question is, at what age did you become comfortable in your skin?
Mm.
I can say this: I've always been comfortable in my skin just because it's what God gave me. I had no other choice. What the problem was, it's the people I went to school with, and I know probably a bunch of people here listening, but it's okay, it's we cool now. But anyway, when I never had a problem with my complexion. I just never did. It was the people I went to school with that had the problem. So I fought a lot, if you understand what I'm saying. And it wasn't, they didn't make me change as far as the person that I am or my complexion. I had no other choice. I just had to get a tougher skin to be able to deal with the comments, the criticisms. And another thing that happens a lot too is you'll get a darker skin complexion woman laughing and talking with you and being friends. And you're like, oh yeah, we can hang out, we can do this, that'll be great. And then they'll go, wow, you're the nicest light skinned person I ever met.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Because you all usually, can I say it? And I'm like, okay, stuck up, you think you're better than people. And I'm going, no, that's not how my parents raised us. If my dad or my mom even thought we acted that way, you would get in trouble for it. You would. But yeah, but I never had a problem with it. It's just, I mean, I had no other choice. I couldn't change it for anybody anyway. I wasn't going to go try and put on darker makeup. Then I'm going to look really crazy. You know, I just had to like the person that I was. So it's nothing I could do. So that's just me.
What you got, Cook?
I'm with you, Donna, but see, mine was reversed. I was trying to use the bleach cream. But I mean, really, you know, women laugh, but I'm telling you, you know, because I mean, I was a dark-skinned black girl, and I had, like Donna, this guy told me, he was like, you know, you're really cute for a dark-skinned black girl. And I can't say what I told him he was, but I'm not going to say that. But he did. He was like, you know, you're really nice looking for a dark-skinned black girl. I'm telling you. So I kind of used I think it was called, I don't know, it was some kind of bleach cream, but it didn't work anyway, but because I'm still black. But so I think around in my 20s, before I went in service, I became comfortable with who I was. But I always had to prove myself. I was always maybe the last one. I remember in service, I was a good runner. And so we lined up and they put these two white girls, which couldn't run, they couldn't catch a cat if the cat came up there and got in their lap. But they put her in front of me, the two girls in front of me, and then these light-skinned black girls, and I beat all of them. So I was like, why is it that I always got to prove that I'm better than they are? But that was just how it was, because I can tell you, that's been like 40-some years ago, and that's how it was. So I'm speaking from the perspective of everything that I went through. And then after they realized I could run, I was in the front. So everything I did, I kind of made it my business to let you know when I walk in the room, you're going to give me my respect. And that's where I took it. I always had the best looking uniform, my shoes, everything, because I commanded respect and I got it. I mean, I got promoted over all of them after I had to prove myself. But you shouldn't have to, but that's how I felt that it was.
Her nickname is Holyfield. I'm just saying.
Yes.
But you know what else? You know what else too? For me, when I got into the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
you're not white enough for the white people to keep promoting up higher.
Right.
And you can't be with the black people, the darker skinned people, because they're going to be like, oh, you're one of them anyway.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not. But the only thing I ever really felt that I felt really strong about was that I wasn't never dark enough for people to take me serious as a black woman. And I will stand up for every black woman or every black person in this world. But you're never white enough to really be in the, so you're like right here in the middle sometimes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But because of my personality, I just started like breaking through those little barriers with everybody. But that's the only other thing. And let me bring up this one point as far as this is crazy. It may not be, it's relevant, but my daughter is in college right now. Nothing against the sororities. I'm not even going to name this particular sorority. But my daughter can't get into this one particular sorority because she's not dark enough. They only get dark-skinned women. I'm not even going to say what college it's at, but they're only, yeah. And back in the day, it was reversed.
Yep.
For this one particular sorority, but they will not let her in because she is not dark enough. And that's my youngest daughter, because my kid is funny because my kids come in a spectrum, like light to brown. And they won't, and she came back, she said, forget it.
Uh-oh.
24.
Wow.
Back?
Yeah,
she's at 24. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well,
I'm dealing with that situation.
I am hoping and I am praying Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated. I am hoping
no.
It's awesome. Okay. All right. Okay. Now look, now I know who you're talking about. Because they always had that stereotype and it hasn't left.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, I ain't said that. That's why I'm not part of nothing. But go ahead. I'm in God's stories.
Well, so I would say, so what's really interesting is I grew up in a predominantly Black school. All my schools were predominantly Black. And between the colorism in my family, which we come in different spectrums of brown, and then the colorism that I dealt with in school, ironically enough, I don't feel like it bothered me enough that I couldn't continue to succeed the way I needed to. I was a stellar athlete in school. So at the end of the day, no one could deny me that. No one could deny me that. I was a stellar athlete in school. And I just made it my business to be friends with all different types of kids, no matter what type of kid they were. You know what I mean? Like I was friends with the geeks. I was friends with the jocks. I was friends with pretty much everybody because I was just kind of a laid back person anyway. But when it came to the boys, I was too dark. I was too dark. I was not the flavor of the month in school. And I wish I could say that it bothered me, but it didn't, because my mindset back then was, you're probably not good enough for me anyway. I know that sounds really full of myself, but I'm gonna go there and say, you know what? I've been watching you, and you don't meet the mark. So for me, any boy who, and boys are, when they're young, they're silly and immature and they do things. And I even had a teacher say to me, the boys do that to you because they actually do like you and you're intimidating. So, so I'll say that I never really let that bother me. I think I've always been pretty comfortable in my skin. as far as my complexion is concerned, even with all of that. But the challenge that came about was when I decided to become a competitive bodybuilder. And I became a competitive bodybuilder at a time where the barriers for women were just starting to break. And, because it had been a man's sport for so long, and other categories came around for women. And women started to really kind of come in and take over by storm, but there weren't that many Black women. So when I started competing, there were only a handful of us, and they didn't know how to judge us. So the judges' feedback that I used to get from the panel of judges back then, like, let me just say, you had to have some tough skin to take that kind of feedback. Because they didn't know what to do with me. I mean, it was, well, you need to wear long extensions, you need to wear a wig, you need to bring your glutes down, which glue to your butt, you need to shrink your butt. And I'm like, well, I'm 6% body fat. If I go any lower, I'm gonna die. They just didn't know what to do with all of this body and this skin and this hair, and I became rebellious. And I was like, I'm not coming with a wig down to the crack of my behind. So I chopped all my hair off and said, y'all gonna get this pixie cut and y'all gonna love it. And, y'all are gonna get this stage presence and y'all are gonna love it. And so instead of allowing the judges' feedback to really chip away at my spirit, I started thinking about what's gonna make me stand out besides the fact that I'm like the only Black girl on stage right now. Right. And that was my sportsmanship and my stage presence, and just my grace on stage. And no matter where I placed, my attitude, how I handled, my placings and how I handled the judges' feedback, like just really taking pride in being a class act, because some of the feedback I used to get was just so nasty. Yeah. It used to get so nasty. And so, I had to really kick down the doors and break barriers. And I will tell you, I'm glad I did that, because the most refreshing thing that happened in that is I had other women of color come to me throughout the years and say, because of what you did and the grassroots you laid the grassroots for us to be able to come and do what we do. And I really appreciate that, because I didn't know I was doing that then. I just knew I wanted to be on this stage. I had aspired to be a bodybuilder ever since I was a kid. It was something that I dreamed about doing, and I was fulfilling a dream. And I didn't know that it was going to take, this other form. And I didn't know that I was going to impact other women of color. But that, so that really was probably one of the biggest challenges outside of like traditional work stuff. And I've dealt with some of that too. And I've dealt with military stuff too. When I tell you the military stuff was really bad, The discrimination was like, I didn't even make it out of basic training without dealing with the discrimination in basic training. I didn't even think I was going to graduate because of the discrimination that I dealt with. I guess we don't have a choice but to fight, right? It's in us. It's instilled in us. I think it's just in our DNA as people of color to fight and kick down doors and break down barriers. And there's no room for us to lay down. There's no room for us to lay down and just take it. We don't have a choice. We have to push past our circumstances.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean, and it's more and more relevant, every day. So I think we have a question from the audience. Lou, you got the question?
I do. It's from Deirdre. She wanted me to ask you ladies, how do we teach our girls what beauty really is, and what does beauty mean to you?
Sorry, y'all. I'm going to grab my charger.
I think beauty is what's in your inner spirit, what's in your inner self. Because you can be the most beautiful person in the world and have the most ugly spirit, the most ugly intentions. and everybody's gonna see you as ugly. You can be, I don't want to say, I'm not gonna say an ugly person, a less attractive person, if you want to call it that. I don't see that. But you can have the most beautiful spirit, the most kind heart, the most empathy for people, and you are the most beautiful person in the world. And I say, as for a person, just love the person that you are. First, you gotta love God. Once you love God, He's gonna filter into you. And all that beauty and all that inspiration, all that good spirit is gonna start showing out through you. And people are gonna see you're gonna have to love yourself. You're gonna love yourself. And that's just how I see it. That's how I work it, because I love God first. And that spirit, I've always had that inner peace, that inner spirit where I just feel like I will always ask God, whatever you put inside of me, let it radiate out to people. So once you get that in you, and once you feel that, you're beautiful, no matter what, you're beautiful. God made you. He don't make mistakes. He made you. So you're beautiful. Whatever you have, it might be your eyes that you like better, your lips or whatever. For me, enhance that beauty and keep walking. That's all you can do. That's how I feel about it.
And what did you teach your girls?
My girl, oh Lord, four of them, all four personalities too, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I taught them, no matter what, always walk in your own. As far as I taught my girls, first of all, yes, you love God. Let Him tell you everything, guide you, everything that you need to do. Let that inner peace from Him always speak through you. Yeah, my girls, I have one, some of them can be a little different, but I tell them, always be the woman that you are. And that comes down from what my parents taught me. And I brought that into my children. Go for what you want to go for. Don't wait for somebody to tell you that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, maybe because you're too thick down there, or your hair's not long enough, or you can't wear the look because maybe you're not brown enough for it, or something like that. You walk in your own, you like what you are, and you just let God guide your way. And people, and that spirit radiates out of you. When it radiates, you love yourself. You will definitely learn to love yourself all the time. You will.
Mm-hmm. I think, Lawana, that we need to start teaching these young girls that beauty starts within. Because beauty will fade, but your heart will live forever. And if you learn how to love yourself, there's no end to it. But these women see all, like you say, the social media, and they just think that they have to look a certain way to be accepted. But if you learn how to love yourself, that's where it starts. If you love yourself, you can walk in anyway, and you're going to demand that people look at you, or that people respect you, because nobody respects somebody that don't love themselves.
So I think physical beauty is subjective. I think that everything that we are as individuals is beautiful. Period. I don't know when and why it's so necessary for us to want to look like someone else. I think the most beautiful thing in the world is to be the only version. There's one carbon copy of you. That's just you. I think that is the most beautiful thing in the world. I think that it's healthy to appreciate someone else's beautiful parts, right? I think it's healthy to acknowledge someone else's beautiful hair or beautiful skin tone, or the shape of them, or their beautiful cheekbones. I think that that's healthy, and I think that that's fine. But what I don't understand is why would you want to look like someone else when no one looks like you? That is the most beautiful thing in the world, is to get up every day and look in the mirror and be like, don't nobody look like me, right? Like, don't nobody look like me. Like, to me, that is the most beautiful thing in the world. I don't want nobody to look like me. And
Nope.
I don't want to look like anybody else. Like, that to me, and then also, as a mom, I was very adamant in making sure my kids understood, yes, it's important to be careful about how people treat you. But the most beautiful thing you can do is focus on how you treat other people. The amount, what you do and how you treat other people is by far one of the most beautiful things you can do, because that means that you have enough compassion and empathy in your spirit to be gentle with someone else's. And it doesn't get more beautiful than that.
But LaJuan, I do want to say that don't get me wrong now. There's nothing wrong with you keeping yourself looking good. I mean, as long as you're doing it for yourself and not for somebody else. So I don't want people to think, oh, just be yourself. Being yourself can mean keeping your hair done, your nails done, whatever makes you happy, but never do it for somebody else.
I agree.
Absolutely. You got that. That goes along with self-care. Okay, you got to take yourself, because ain't nobody gonna take care of you and love you. Okay,
That's right.
Just take care of yourself now, ladies. Y'all know we're a big advocate for that now.
That's right.
Self-care. So yes, like you said though, as long as you're doing it for self, okay,
Right.
it's very, very important. So, what you had? You was about to say something, Erica?
Yes, I was going to say, I know the question, the person who posed the question said, how do we teach our daughters? But it is very important as moms, because a lot of our sisters are single parent aunties and godmoms of boys. We have to instill that in young men. So many things. The latest topic this week was a certain person of color was talking about women, certain women having an attitude, but the other women, the exotic women, is what he was drawn to. Mm-hmm. So we have to, that goes for, and there was a lot of women that were kind of confused and then some on the other side agreeing with this person saying, well, okay, I'm exotic because I look this way, or we have to break down that notion. All women are beautiful, and it doesn't matter because you have wavy hair, because you have this, you have to, that's why this topic is so important. We need to spread it. Our young men need it just as much as our young women. And self-care is so important. That's a mental thing. When our kids see us being, taking care of ourselves health-wise, they know that, okay, now this is something I need to aspire to as well, because I need to maintain the whole self,
right?
Not just the appearance.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, ironically, the definition of exotic is rare. And aren't we all exotic and rare?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know Let me see what other questions I had. We had a couple questions. Let me see. What tips can you give other women on how to be comfortable in their skin?
I think we've touched all over that. Love yourself. That's the number one thing. If you love yourself, nothing can touch you.
And don't let the negativity of anything that anybody says get to your head.
That's right.
Negativity is just say it's nowhere in my circle.
Right.
Well, but it is a daily responsibility. And it can't be when things get tough. It can't be when you're stressed. It can't be when life is turned upside down. It has to be every single day. It is a daily responsibility that we love ourselves. And it doesn't have to be extreme all the time. It don't have to be a bubble bath every day. It doesn't have to be a looking in the mirror and saying, I love you and you're beautiful every day. You just have to, be in touch with your spirit. Like, you have to get centered and grounded, and you have to do it every single day. And it feels better when the days are good, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like a bank account. You have to put money in the bank every single day before you can get dividends. If you keep withdrawing from the bank, you're gonna be broke. So, we understand that concept, don't we? You don't put no money in the bank, you don't have no money. Well, it's the same concept, and we have to teach our kids that. And again, it starts young. It starts young, and you have to talk to them on their level about why loving themselves is important for our young boys and our young girls, right? Because again, if they don't have these tools and then they leave our homes, they're doomed. Like they walk out and they're doomed. And they spend 20, 30 years looking for it in other people and expecting other people to take care of something they haven't taken care of within themselves. And they're looking for people to do something they probably haven't even done for themselves yet. These people haven't done for themselves yet. So it's just this vicious cycle. And so I really think it starts at home. It starts with our little people at home. You know, when we know that they're about to go off to school and they're going to start interacting with other children, you have to teach those tools, how to respond when another little kid comes up and wants to touch your hair is so curly and oh my gosh. And, you know, you have to teach them how to respond to, well, why does your skin look like chocolate milk? And, you know, like you have to teach your kids how to respond to these things. You have to teach them, you have to even role play with them. You have to role play with them. You have to give them the scenarios, and you have to play. Kids like make believe, right? They want to build forts in your living room and they want to do all these things. You have to get involved very early on, and you have to do it. It's important because, and also if you're a parent like me, I was a parent who didn't have these tools. It didn't stop me from providing these tools, but it also was allowing me to teach myself at the same time. So not only was I teaching my kids, but I was also giving myself the tools that I needed to continue to have the confidence that I needed to succeed, right? So it's kind of a two-part, but it's absolutely necessary that we start with our kids. And we talk to them every day, all the time. But pouring into yourself every day is our responsibility. It's a daily responsibility.
Yeah.
You said something very important about looking in the mirror, telling yourself you love yourself. I think that's where you start. And it's very important that you're able to look in that mirror and tell yourself, you are a good person. You are the bomb. I love you. I mean, I got mirrors all through my room, and I look at every of them to make sure I'm good. And as women, that's what we need, because if no one else tell us we're beautiful, we gotta know that we're beautifully made.
And the reason,
size or anything, you're beautiful.
Yes.
right.
We had a comment by Jay Renee. She said, "Yeah, because men think exotic women look better. They glorify women from Brazil and Puerto Rico." So,
Yep. And the Lawana, the reason I say you gotta love yourself, because don't believe that song Beyonce say I woke up like this, because sometimes you wake up and look at that mirror and say, I need to go back to bed. So you gotta love yourself, because sometimes you look and say, who the heck is that? So I love myself. I don't care how I get up.
I don't know nobody. I do think a good tribe of sisters, of people that surround you, because sometimes you get in the room by yourself and your own thoughts overwhelm you. So sometimes you do need that help of a friend, a sister, cousin, somebody to bring you to care, guide you through and help walk you through those days when you smelling yourself a little bit too much.
You make a good point, Erica. I know that we're talking about taking real estate in our own space and taking charge of our own space and everything. But I also think that we need to make sure that we let people know that in the midst of you taking your own space and loving yourself and doing your own personal work, be very mindful of the company you keep. And don't surround yourself around people who are not also pouring into you, because let me tell you something, that can also chip away at your soul too. And so if you are surrounded by people, friends, coworkers, family, loved ones, whatever, you got to be mindful about the company you keep. For real. Like, at the end of the day, we are emotional creatures. We do have feelings. And no matter how bomb we think we are, it does not feel good to have somebody ripping away at your spirit and chipping you down and trying to change who you are to appease them, right? So I think it's important that we make sure we don't forget that part, because we are surrounded by people all the time that mean the world to us, right? Our friends and our family and all that, So be mindful of that, not just your girlfriends, but yeah, if you don't got good girlfriends, you don't got good hype people, you need to find good girlfriends, because what's the point of having them there if they ain't gonna be able to tell you the bomb too? And y'all should be loving up on each other. Like we've got to rally together. Like we gotta be able to tell each other that. Now I will tell you, we've come a long way with that too, because I remember growing up, walking past a group of girls, she thinks she's cute, and now I love that I can walk. Me and my sister was in the mall randomly one time a couple of years ago, and this lady was just like, yes, all of that. And I was like, thank you. Like, it felt great that a woman was confident enough in her own space to be able to compliment me and my sister in the mall. We was just minding our business. So we've come a long way, but we have a long way to go. And in the midst of us loving on ourselves, we need to also be mindful of the company we keep.
Yes, so important. I mean, you gotta, hello, a tribe called Queens. You gotta have a serious tribe that, like Erica said, that's going to put you in your place the right way when you need to be put in your place, but also that's going to pour into you and lift you up and let you know, and surround yourself with people who, I mean, it's like-minded people. That's just what it is. You need to be around like-minded people, because that's just what it needs to be. Is no other way to put it. Like, just be around like-minded people. What you say, E?
Iron sharpens iron.
Hello, yes.
Another thing too, we don't fight the racism amongst our own people. You can't complain about people being racist against you. You have to look at it and say that we all bleed the same color. We just made it all look different, and we come from every spectrum, but we cannot keep saying what other people are saying about us until we learn to all come together in our own culture and our own race and become one and start supporting each other on every level of everything. And then we don't have to worry about what they're saying about us, because we're strong as our community. We'll be a stronger community too.
Yes. So important. I mean, that is so important that we have to first not tear each other down, and then we have to respect one another so that we can get the respect that that we want. And so how can you expect respect from someone else when you don't even respect yourself or your own community? And so that is so true, Donna. Like, and it goes across other things too. I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this conversation is about. But it is so true. Like, we have to start within our own community. And it's so, so true. And so I love the fact that, now, like you said, we have come a long way because, we compliment one another now. We uplift, we empower one another. And it's so many women that are not just doing that, but bringing their sisters along and making sure that we are all that we're all winning, you know what I mean? And so I think that is so, so important that, and I love the fact that, now we even have, the Ava DuVernays and all of those people in Hollywood that are bringing up, our sisters and, in movies and just in theaters, like everywhere, and so it is so awesome. And being a writer myself, like, I love that, because when I was growing up, it was very rare, that you even saw things like that. And so I can't even think of a Black woman that I knew in writing in Hollywood when I was growing up. Like, yes, there were some actresses and stuff like that, but there was nobody like me writing behind the scenes, bringing stories to the screen or none of that. And so I just love it that, that is definitely, taking place now. So you guys have, Lou, you got any other questions? Or Erica, do we have any questions? Let me see if we have any questions from the audience. Well, y'all.
I do have one more question that we wrote down. What would older you tell younger you about being comfortable in your skin? So what would your older self, you being older now, tell your younger self about being comfortable in your own skin?
Uh, I'll say I would probably tell my younger self now, what took you so long? Really, what took you so long? That's it.
That's good, Cookie.
Well, I'll say at 61 years old, I don't even know. I would just say that, wow, I don't know. Just why did you even worry about what somebody said in the first place?
Right.
You know, why did you worry about what the other girls were saying? Why were you worried about what other people were saying at that time? I guess that would be it. Just don't worry so much and just keep it going.
Well, I actually wrote this down because I had to write this down.
Oh,
So I had to, y'all know. So the first thing I would tell myself is be good to yourself. The second thing I would say is don't expect to get things from people like validation or approval from people when they haven't given it to themselves and you haven't given it to yourself. And the third thing I would say is you already have everything you need to succeed. So go be amazing. Go be amazing is actually something that I say to my kids all the time. I've been telling them that since they were very, very little. That's how and when I see them and I'll hug them and send them on their way, that is what I say to my kids. And I think I would say that to myself.
Wait, I was trying to write that down so I could put it up in here. That thing. Wait, I got to show that. Go. What? I love it. Yes, go be amazing.
I say go be great, Q. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Every time I say go be great, come from good stock. Go be great. Don't be playing me.
That is awesome. Like, yes, I mean, it's so many things, you know, time goes so fast. And I mean, well, first of all, Donna over there talking about she's 61. Like, what the world? Wow. I know, right?
Right.
you don't look 61.
I was a lot younger when I met you, Georgette.
Look
That's
good.
what I'm telling. But see, listen here. Let me tell y'all something. When you take care of yourself, okay, and you do your self-care and you love on yourself, that's why you're gonna be 61 looking like you 31. Hello. So you got to take care of yourself.
That's
and
right.
You can and drink water. Okay, make sure you drink
Yes.
water.
Yes.
And
Yes.
exercise.
And cookies. And exercise. I wish I could show pictures up here of you when she was bodybuilding. Y'all would be like, boom, boom. Like, I mean, I'm telling y'all,
Amazing.
yes, you got to take care of yourself, sisters. You have got to take care of yourself, queens, because we got this beautiful, gorgeous, and I love it. I love the skin that I am in
Yes,
every day. Okay. And I take care of it very well. So please make sure y'all take care of yourself. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I'm all about the self-care. So
I told Q, I said I was scrolling through Q IG stuff, right? And I came across bodybuilding. I was like, I'm gonna get a body just like that. And I maybe not in this lifetime, maybe in another lifetime, my body will get like that.
You can always pay for it, Luana.
Just like that.
You can always pay for it. But
you can pay for it, Luana.
yeah, you can pay for it. But I'm happy to be 66 years old, and I'm telling you, I feel good. I'm very happy in my skin. And when I walk in a room, I still demand respect. Trust me.
That's right. I forgot Cookie over there. She's 66, y'all. But and her body is redonkulous, so it's no at 66. So
That's right.
take care of yourself. We
To our,
mad.
to our young sisters, it gets better. It gets so much better.
It does. It does. Tell them it gets better. You don't have all that worry no more. You be like, whatever, whatever.
Yeah. And for the people who are, I mean, one thing that I do, I know that question came up about like, what do we tell our kids and stuff like that. And something else that just came on my heart, when we have these young ladies who are, I'm back on this social media thing, that like we have to stress how important it is that you do not let that be the model of what you think that you are to be as a person, because God has created each and every one of, I mean, like you said, we are so unique and we are all our own individual people and we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I don't care who you are, what color your skin is, what your body looks like. You have got to love yourself. You have got to stop looking at these people that are whatever. I don't know. I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just saying love who you are for what you are. And as we said, find some people that are going to, pour into you and help you, because even if you can't do it for yourself, then you need to find people that can motivate you, that can ignite you, that can inspire you, that can encourage you. Go to that word first and foremost. But if you find some people that will bring you along, my sisters, because I know that there's a lot of people who are watching this and who are going through things that may not say it and may not, but just you got to start, and you got to start loving yourself and knowing that you are powerful, that you are amazing, that you are wonderful, that you are a queen, and that there is nothing or nobody that can take anything away from you when it comes to who you are. So just know that and walk in your power. Please walk in your power, ladies, and know that. So I just want to share that.
And we all been through something to get to where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a journey. It's a journey and it's a process that you got to learn yourself. What makes you happy? What makes you tick? What you gonna take? What you gonna stand for? What you not gonna be around? What you gonna take? Eliminate. Eliminate out your life to get you to your next as a woman and a young woman. And like Georgette said, find people that's like you, like-minded, that think like, not necessarily think like you, but want the same things. You can't be on the same course with another female if she's doing this and that's not who you are. Sometimes you have to learn how to walk away from your friends and choose other friends.
Amen. Yes.
I just want to say, Donna, I do appreciate you bringing from your side. People never think about that. We're always talking about the darker skinned women, but being a light skinned woman, I'm sure you've gone through many things. So we got to hear your side. We hear a lot about dark skinned women and how they're like, but I do appreciate that we got to hear from your perspective of what you go
Thank
through.
you.
And what
And it's funny because I've always wanted to be in a forum like this where all women of every shade can talk and get everything out, and we still laughing and talking and loving each other. I always wanted that forum where we could speak on that. It was definitely needed, and I definitely appreciate the invitation to be on.
Yeah, I agree with Cookie. I appreciate that you were able to bring a biracial perspective, not just a light-skinned Black woman perspective, but a biracial perspective, because that is a whole nother untapped into topic. And it's a very sensitive topic. And so I just, I wanted to say thank you for being so open and sharing with, with your like the biracial perspective. Because it's deeper for you than just being a light-skinned Black woman. But, you, like you said, you're like right here, like
in the middle.
You're in the middle, and you're not accepted on either side most of the time. And that's got to be an uncomfortable place to be in, and to be able to actually be comfortable in your skin and be a confident, firm, woman, like that's a big deal. So my hats go off to you because that's a lot. That's a lot to take on.
Yeah. You know what really got me, just to share this last story? I did my DNA. I've been doing my ancestry for the past, oh my gosh, years. And the stories I have come across has been amazing. But I did my DNA. When those results came back, it's funny because my niece is here now. Everybody who's sitting at the table listening to me now, we're here. And when I read it, I had to stop and go, what? And I read it again. I am way more European than I am Black. I felt some kind of way. I really did. They were my kids. Everybody was laughing and saying, "Oh, can we get your Black card back now?" And I'm like, "That's not funny, y'all," because I really felt some kind of way. I went to work and I told my coworkers. I said, "I got my DNA results back." And they're like, "What is it? What is it?" And I told them, and they were like, "I said I feel some kind of way." And they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm mad because I want to be more Black." And they were like, "Are you?" I was really, really mad. It lasted for a good month. And so I told my sisters, go do your DNA. So my other sister, my youngest sister did. Hers came back the same way. And I'm like, and everybody said, "Why are y'all so surprised?" Because I didn't want to be more European than Black. And I know it sounds crazy, but I was so angry. I was so mad. It took me a while to get over it. It really did. But that ancestry DNA told me, oh my God, I just wish my parents were still alive so I could share some of this stuff with them so they would know what I had to deal with. That is very interesting, but it really had me kind of way for a minute. It really messed with me. It really did. I know it sounds crazy, but it messed with me really good. And I have so many people in my family that actually have passed for white and have gone on to move to California. Most of my family comes out of Virginia. A lot of them, one cousin found me, called me, and he said, "Oh, I'm your grandfather's nephew, white, blonde hair, everything." He said, "I just found out 3 months before my mom died. She told me to go pull a suitcase off the shelf, and I found out I'm Black." And I said, "Oh." And he said, "How did you feel when you found out you were Black?" I said, "I've been Black ever since my parents had me in this world. I didn't know any different." He said, I said, "The only reason why I found out was European because I took my DNA." And he said, "I feel some kind of way." I said, "I'm so sorry that you had to find out that way." But he just found out not too long ago, and I didn't know what to say to him. I said, "I've always known." But yeah, so many of my relatives that I'm finding out now.
Wow.
You have to get away from your family. If you're passing, because people within your city, from what I understand from relatives, if you stayed in that state, they already know, But yeah, I'm finding out some very interesting things that's kind of like messing with my little soul here.
You know what, Donna? There's a lot of white people that is really Black, and once they do their DNA, they're gonna be shocked.
That was it right there.
Well, Donna, I did my DNA and it said you are 100% Black. There is no question.
That's why I love you.
They said, "Don't even try to guess you anything else. You are Black."
Yeah. When they said, "Mommy, Auntie Donna, give me your Black card back," I said, "Y'all not getting nothing. I know."
Donna, I didn't have nothing else mixed. I was trying to see if I had anything mixed with me. You gotta have something. No, it said Black. BLACK, nothing else.
Oh my gosh, that DNA will mess with you for real.
Cookie is crazy. Listen, y'all, Cookie.
I was trying to see if I was maybe mixed with something else. I was gonna be exotic then. No, they said you are Black. Every page said Black. I said, "Well, what? I didn't have to take the DNA then. I didn't need that. I didn't really need that because I knew that."
I didn't get the body size of all my sisters, and I got the whole Nigerian, but my DNA say something else. Really weird, but okay.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Y'all, oh my gosh, I can't with Cookie. Look, we got Miss Stacy Singleton. She said, "Queens, you are
That's my sister."
Love the energy and positivity that you all brought to this session." So, yes, ladies, oh my God, what a way. Look, Shakiva said, y'all are too funny. Shakiva also. But ladies, this was awesome. I think
I enjoyed it.
What a way to close out in laughter and tears. I mean, like, and this, I love this. Not only was it such a good topic, but it also shows, you know, that we can come together, that we can laugh, that we can have a good time. Well, whenever you step on the Queen's platform, anyway, you're gonna be laughing. That's just who we are, and if y'all know us, y'all know that we always have a good time. I don't know what happened. We remind us the Queen tonight. I don't know. I hope she okay. But our girl Justina is not here. But so we want to really, really thank you, ladies, for coming on. And it's so funny because when I came up with the topic, and I immediately thought about who I wanted on this platform, and so I thought about Q, I thought about Cookie, and then Donna came to mind because I was like, you know what, just like Cookie said, it's always, you know, we usually hear the perspective of our browner sisters, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to bring Donna on here as well, and I knew that she definitely, like she said, not only is she, you know, a light skin, but she's biracial, and so I was like, that's touching a whole, she got everything. And so, but I just want to thank y'all. I thank y'all for even opening up and just being honest and bringing this to the forefront. Definitely, like you said, if you guys want to come back and talk about it even more,
we need a part 2, Georgette.
Part 2. We have so we definitely part 2. But we just
my daughters are saying bring some younger girls on.
Oh, that's
wait a minute, Donna. No. Because me and you gotta connect. I do a platform for younger women and men.
Oh.
Yes. So
okay, they all want to do it like this.
Yes.
Okay, contact me.
Yes.
Yeah. They can come on. They can go on YBC. That's for the young folks. They can go. Lou does the thing for
they said they're in their 30s. Are they still young?
But yes, they're still young. Any closing remarks? I just want to go around and just any closing remarks that you ladies want to give out before we close out. And Donna, also, awesome. Tell them a little bit more just about your book as well. I love that idea. I forgot about your book that you wrote. So about your book and all of that. But just go around, give us some closing comments, and then we gonna get on out of here. But go ahead, Donna. Like I see you. So that's why I start with you first. But go ahead, Donna.
I truly enjoyed this. I want to get to meet all you ladies in person, but I truly enjoyed this, and I thank you for bringing me on. It's been fun, and it's like I said, it's always been something I wanted to do, get in a forum with everybody, every shade of woman, so we can talk about it. But as far as my children's book, I wrote it on a children's level because like we were all saying, how you have to teach them while they're young. So I based it on butterflies because we come in every color of a butterfly. And I just chose a yellow butterfly because none of the other butterflies who were beautiful and colorful and sparkly didn't like her. So she kept going home crying and kept getting into, fights with them and getting upset until her mother said, stand up for yourself and stand up what you believe in. And then one day she came together with them and they all sat together and talked about it and realized that the purple and black and yellow butterfly is just as beautiful as the yellow butterfly or the purple butterfly or the pink butterfly. They all came together and realized they're all beautiful because they all look different. And then one butterfly wanted to sparkle, and the yellow butterfly, her name is Folletti. She said, the reason why I sparkle so much is because I go in the forest and get sprinkle dust, and I just put pixie dust. And they were all excited, go, oh, we just thought you sparkled because you were yellow. And she said, no, it's just pixie dust. And then they all became friends. So that's I'm just still looking for an illustrator, but that's my story. I based it on what I went through coming through school with darker skinned women. Yeah. But I truly enjoy this, and I love you guys. I want to meet you.
Thanks, Donna. All right, Cook, what you got?
Well, I just want to say that that's why I usually try to support Tribe Called Queens, because I think y'all do a lot for women. You don't realize how much you do for women, but you're doing a lot. Lawana's with the youth, and you do a lot for women. So I just want you to keep doing what you're doing and just continue. That's all I can tell you. Just continue. And if I can ever do anything to support you more than what I'm doing now, I would be more than happy to, because this is a platform for women. So I want to meet you, Donna, because you brought a whole new perspective, and that was great. So I was just happy to be here.
Thanks, Cook. What you got, Methodical? Come on over.
Well, I wrote some stuff down.
Oh Lord, that girl right on time.
Well, but before I say what I'm going to say, I too want to say thank you for the opportunity. I think this was an amazing topic to have a platform for, and I just love you ladies to pieces. I love every last one of you to pieces, and Donna, I can't wait to meet you as well. Thank you so much for the perspective that you brought. This warms my heart because, we could do this. There could be so many series on this. There's just so much to discuss.
That's
it's
right.
so broad. But
Right.
what I'd like to leave the viewers with, if I could, is just a couple of things, just a couple of reminders. And I'd like to leave you ladies with a couple of reminders. Number one, you should never be comfortable giving somebody else the power to validate you.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the best investment you can ever make is the investment you make into yourself, and it is a daily investment. And then number three, never sacrifice your confidence to comfort someone else's insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things I want to leave you with. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yep.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Can I add on to number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anyone tell you being confident means you are conceited.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I like it.
Yes. Like it.
Don't let no one say you're conceited because you're confident who you are and who you are and who you belong to.
That's it.
That's right. Yep.
Yes, come on, preach. She over here preaching today. Come on.
Yeah. She done took your spot. We got Preaker Jr.
What you got, E? What you want?
I love it. Like you said, we can go on. I had so many different topics and layers that we are going to have to make different subjects for another day. So we have to bring this back. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was fun. The topic is serious. It is something that is a constant reminder for all of us as women, and to do with our sons, daughters. We're all moms, godmoms, sisters, cousins to someone. We need to, keep the topic going. Like she said, it's a daily. She said it's a daily. It's
Right.
daily. So I think this is just so important. I had a really good time. I enjoyed virtually meeting you, Donna. Like I said, hopefully, meet in person and share this love. But this was really a good time tonight, ladies.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I don't know. Thank y'all. Thank you. Like you said, we could go on forever and ever, but I love y'all. But listen here, sister hungry, okay? Because she ain't
Me too.
okay. So she right. But no, seriously. But thank y'all. We will definitely do a part 2.
Okay.
For sure. It's not a problem. We will definitely do a part 2 and bring you ladies back. And like Erica said, it's a serious topic, but we can still have around it, have a good time. But it is a serious topic at the end of the day. But it's just things that have to be addressed. Like I said in the beginning, we like talking about the things that people don't want to talk about. We So, and it's all good, and I love it because we can do it, because this is our platform, and so we can, if that's what we choose to do, then that's what we can do. But at the end of the day, it's still a message behind everything that we do, and there's nothing that we don't talk about that does not warrant you to think. And Q definitely left you guys with some things to chew on after this is over. So, chew on those words, go back and make sure you every day that you are being the person who God has called you to be, loving the skin that you are in, because it's not going to change. Amen.
Yes.
So, all right, y'all. So y'all know what time it is. We thank y'all for tuning in, for getting acquainted with the queens. And
Yes.
I always say, I'm out, and we're going to hit this. Deuces. We will see you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All
Bye-bye.
right.